Welcome to DIY concrete countertops. Now, I certainly won't claim to be an expert on the subject of concrete countertops, although I have poured a few. So if there's just one or two tips offered up in this video that help you with your project, well then I guess it all will have been worth your time. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Okay, we've got a pretty straightforward bathroom vanity here. Only tricky part is it's enclosed on three sides, which means it has to be a perfect fit. It's going to get a cast-in sink in the center and a 3-hole faucet. So first thing I want to do is check and make sure that this opening is somewhat square and that it's not pie-shaped where I'm going to try to put my countertop in and it's not going to let me slide. So that's the first thing we'll do, is just check the squareness. And as you can see, it's a little bit rough. That makes our install a little bit tricky. Okay, next thing I want to do is find my sink center line. What we're going to do here is center off of the cabinets, off of the doors. Now what I'm doing, because of the pie shape of this countertop, is I'm holding back by about 3/16, eighth of an inch. And when I install this, I'm going to have to slide it into this corner and drop it down. And then we'll rely on backsplash or tile to cover that gap. Otherwise, if we didn't do that, there would be no way to install this. Okay, I've got my back template board tight in this opening. I'm going to glue on my side piece now. And I'm not going to touch this with a square because I want to build this exact to this opening. I don't care about square. Front, we've got a overhang or drip edge. What that does is that prevents spills from dripping onto the drawers and into the drawers. Okay, now I want to get my center line laid out. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll come through and I will label everything. So, back wall, side, okay, now what I want to do is I want to open this cabinet and see what type of obstructions I will be dealing with from the bottom side. Anything that can interfere with my faucet or my sink. Now for a drip edge on the front, standard would be between 3 and 4 inches. So 3 to 4 inches. And I know that from the face of my cabinet to the edge of where my countertop will be is 1 inch. So from front edge of counter to beginning of sink, I want to be at 4 inches. I know that the front edge of my counter to the face of the cabinet is 1 inch, so cabinet thickness, face frame thickness is 3/4. So 1 3/4 puts me right there. That leaves me approximately 2 inches of thickness for the front of my sink. If this is a cast-in-place sink, then that whole sink will be made out of concrete. That means the maximum that that wall can be is 2 inches to clear that. Okay, now faucet. As far as that goes, the back of this cabinet is made out of 1/2-inch plywood. So I need to account for that off this back wall. So just to play it safe, we're going to lay out what our sink is. This is going to be a 16 by 12 sink, which means 12 this way. Okay, now that we've got that thing built and we built it in place, I can kind of demonstrate to you why the pie shape isn't going to slide out. So the back is wider than the front in this case. So we're going to bind really badly if we try to slide it in forward. So for this particular install, what we're going to have to do is come up and out. Okay, now in this bathroom vanity, it's slightly different, and there are a few important things to take note of. First being that the sink will be off-center. As you can see, the drawers down here, the doors down here are offset. Now there's a divider inside of this cabinet that runs right here, so it's important to take notation of that so that you know that your sink cannot intrude into that area. Second important thing to take note of is that there is one side open. I always label that as open, that way I know when I'm finishing off my poured countertop, filling in bug holes and such, this side needs to look good. Same with the front, this side needs to look good. So, in addition to the normal things that we label, we also label the divider and we label our open edges. Yeah, that's what a job site template should look like. You can add some extra bracing if you think you're going to handle it rough and break it. This is plenty for here.
You